Hey, good evening. Here we are continuing in the book of Ruth on our Old Testament studies on Sunday night, where we've made it halfway through the book. We'll get these 18 verses here just in a few minutes. We'll be 75% through and hopefully finish up next week. Quick recap, Ruth and her mom-in-law, Naomi, both lost their husbands living down in Moab. Naomi had come from Jerusalem, driven down there years ago by famine, and they've come back to Jerusalem, but they're poor people. And we found Ruth following the Old Testament welfare law, if you would, to take care of folks. She was following the reapers around in the harvest time and picking up the stuff that they missed, which the Bible gave them the right to do that. And she was in this man named Boaz's field, and Boaz, I think, took a liking to her when he first saw her. And he told his guys, said, don't say nothing to her if she even gets too far ahead. And says, matter of fact, says, why don't you guys just spill some on purpose, handfuls on purpose, so that she'll have plenty to take home. And so it's sort of a love story. The overarching picture, of course, is Ruth is a type of the church, largely a Gentile bride today. And Boaz was as the kinsman redeemer in the story is a type of Christ, and Christ, God became like us. He become near kin to us as a human being to redeem us. And the story continues here, but it's just a simple little story, but remember there's that overarching story behind it too. So we come to the part now where Naomi's at home with Ruth, and Ruth's going to talk to her daughter-in-law, says, you're still young, says, we need to get things where it's going to be good for you in the future here. So it takes us to verse 1 of chapter 3. Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, Ruth, my daughter, shall I not seek rest or security for you? We're all seeking for security, ain't we, for the future, that it may be well with thee. And she said, now is not Boaz our kindred, with whose maidens thou wast? He was with his maidens. Behold, he winnows barley tonight in the threshing floor. So mom-in-law's kind of cooking up a little scheme how to get them together, right? Maybe get them married here. So mom-in-law tells Ruth, says, now, wash thyself therefore, and anoint thee, and put thy raiment upon thee. You go and get all dolled up, hon. You wash real good, put your perfume on, put your best clothes on, and get on down to the threshing floor where he's going to be working tonight. But make not thyself known to the man until he shall be done eating and drinking. Just kind of stay low-key for a while. And it will be, verse 4, when he lies down, mark the place where he lies. You take note of where he lays down, and you'll go in and uncover his feet and lay down, and he'll tell thee what thou shalt do. Now, interesting thing about the Bible is I've been studying it diligently for over 30 years now, and as I study these little chapters and things and read the commentaries, it's neat to run across new stuff. And here's something that I'd never read before. I always thought, what in the world does it mean go in and uncover his feet and lay down? Well, what I read this week, I think this came from J. Vernon McGee's commentary. It said back when in the threshing floor, the custom was they would thresh the grain all day and they'd have a pile of it. Well, that's valuable. So you've got to watch one, that maybe some thieves come in tonight and try to steal our stuff. Or two, might even be somebody's cow or an animal come and eat our grain. So don't want that. So the men would sleep right there on the threshing floor. And you'd have this pile of grain there, and each one of them would put their head up toward the pile of grain and their feet sticking out away from it like spokes on a wheel. And that was protecting their grain, and that's where they'd sleep there while they were working on the threshing floor projects. So that's what Naomi knows. So she tells Ruth, said, you mark where he lays there. When it's good and dark, you go and lay at his feet. And he'll tell you what to do from there. And she said unto her, Ruth is saying to Naomi, now all you say unto me, I'll do it. And she went down, verse 6, to the floor and did according to all that her mother-in-law bade her. And when Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was cheerful or merry, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of corn. So he lied down at the end of the pile there. His head's up there and his feet sticking out. So she came softly And he's dozing off now, I guess, and it's up in the night and it's dark, and she uncovers his feet and she lays there at his feet and I guess pulls the stuff back over her. And it came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid or startled. He woke up and he realized there's something at my feet. He might have first thought it was a bear, right? But he realized that, behold, a woman lay at his feet. And he said, "Who are you?" Or if you want the King James, "Who art thou?" And she answered, "I'm Ruth, thine handmaid. Spread therefore thy skirt, or the hem of your garment, over me, for you are near kinsman." Now, he would have been familiar with this rule too, that was another way of God taking care of widows back then. If a woman's husband died, then in many cases it was the brother. If the guy had a brother, his brother was to take her into his home, and she'd be his wife. That's why they had multiple wives sometimes. And in this case, apparently Boaz was just like a cousin or something, but he's one of the nearest kin that he had. So she points out, like, you're my kinsman redeemer. Are you going to do the right thing, I guess? And I think Boaz wants to do the right thing, but there's a fly in the ointment. So hang on here just a minute. That's verse 9. You're my near kinsman. Verse 10, and he said, "Blessed be thou of the Lord, my daughter, for thou hast showed more kindness in the latter end than at the beginning." I think Boaz is a little older than her, because he says, "Inasmuch as thou followest not young men, whether poor or rich." You ain't out here chasing the young guys around. "And now, my daughter, fear not. I will do all that thou requirest. For all the city of my people doth know that thou art a virtuous woman." I really think that from right at the very beginning, I think that Ruth liked Boaz and Boaz liked Ruth. And it's kind of the intricacies of them getting together here. And so Boaz knows all about her. Says, "Everybody in town knows you're a virtuous woman. You ain't been chasing men all over the place." She's like that woman in Proverbs 31. "Everybody in Jerusalem knows it," he said. "And now it's true that I am thy near kinsman." It is true I'm your near kinsman. Here's the fly in the ointment, though. Boaz says, "Howbeit, there's a kinsman nearer than I." You've got a kinsman that's nearer, and he's got first dibs, according to the Old Testament law here. So Boaz says, "Now you tarry this night, and it'll be in the morning that if he will perform to thee his part of a kinsman," I'm going to go talk to him. He says, if he wants to be your near kinsman redeemer, then that's how it's going to have to be. Let him do the kinsman's part. But if he will not do the kinsman part of a kinsman to thee, then I'll do the part of a kinsman to thee. As the Lord liveth, lie down till morning now. And she lay at his feet until morning, and she rose up before one could know another. She got up while it was still dark, nobody could recognize anybody. And he told her, says, "Don't let it be known that a woman came into the threshing floor now." Also, he said, bring the veil. Over here in my footnotes it says this could also be translated the shawl that you have upon thee, and hold it. And when she held it, like this, you see that in the camera there, that he filled it full of grain for her to take something home to her mom-in-law. See, I told you he likes her. "Bring the veil you have upon thee, and hold it." And when she held it, he measured 6 measures of barley and laid it on her. And she went to the city. It's what folks around here sometimes call a shirt tail full. And when she came to her mother-in-law, she said, Naomi says to Ruth when she come home, says, "Who art thou, my daughter?" I think Naomi was saying, "Are you Mrs. Boaz?" And she told her all that the man had done to her. And she said, "These 6 measures of barley gave he me, for he said to me, go not empty to your mother-in-law." And then old mom-in-law Naomi says, "Now you just sit still now. You just don't you do nothing else. Let him take care of his part, and God's going to work this out. Now you've done your part." Naomi's wise. So she said, "You sit still, my daughter, till you know how the matter will fall." Because she knew, Boaz, Naomi, she knew how, if he really liked her, he said, he's going to get this straightened out today. She said, "For the man will not be at rest till he finish the thing this day." Now, here's what we're going to close with. It's a love story, ain't it? But if you think of it as Christ and his church, it's like It's going to turn out. This is going to. I'm going to give it away. You already know this, but it's going to be Boaz's will that he's going to take Ruth for his wife. It's going to be Ruth's will too, though, ain't it? There's two wills involved here, and it's like the Lord wants you to be His, but He wants your will that you be His too. That's why He allows everybody to have that free choice whether they're going to choose to belong to Him or not. And I hope you make the right choice. See you next time.